Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Live and I'm a knitter and crocheter from Norway, and today I thought we would do another podcast episode where we usually talk about some finished objects, what's on my needles, and also some planned projects maybe. If you've been here before, you probably noticed that the background has changed. That's because we did move. This is also the second time I'm filming this because the last time the camera was acting up and the footage was in and out of focus. Let's move into the podcast, and firstly we can talk about some finished objects. The first finished object is actually the sweater that I'm wearing. This is an Amanda sweater, I think it's called. It's a free pattern by House of Yarn, and it's knitted bottom up with a v-neck, and it's knitted all over on 9mm needles and 7mm needles for the ribbing, and ribbing is just simple 1x1 ribbing. And the sleeves is a balloon sleeve, so you just knit it straight and then you decrease a bunch right before the ribbing, and simple 1x1 rib. I did do Italian bind off, and I did knit the sleeves from the top and down, and in the pattern you're supposed to start with the ribbing and then bind off up here, but I decided to knit it this direction just to make sure that I got long enough sleeves. And the yarn is Fat Mohair by Strikkefeber, which is a hand-dyed thick mohair, and the company is located in Norway and has a store in Oslo. So I used to work there, as I've probably said before, so that's why I knit with their yarns so much. That's just what I'm wearing, and also my first finished object. The next finished object is a little bag by Sandnes Garn. Sticking with the pink vibes, this is a crocheted little everyday tote is the pattern. It's a free one from Sandnes Garn. You probably get it on their website. It's knitted in thick line, which is a linen and viscose blend, I believe, and it's made on 5mm hook from the bottom, just back and forth, and then you start working back and forth for the body of the bag, and then you make a little hank. And I think I made this in like a day or two. So it's a pretty easy and quick project, perfect for the summer when you're just running out the door. I think I will wear this a ton, and I already wore it to a wedding. So it's a very versatile bag. And the next thing that I finished this month is the Fussy sweater by Tove Lindtein, which is just a basic top-down sweater where you knit until the sleeves, and then you knit the front piece and the back piece, pick up stitches for the sleeves, knit the sleeves. I think I just did normal 1 knit 1 purl bind off. Yeah, looks like it. And then you pick up stitches for the neck, knit it, fold it double, and sew it down. I actually, the last time I filmed this episode, I discovered that it was actually a big ass hole in this sweater that I need to fix. The yarn just fully broke on me. It's a 50% cotton, 50% merino blend. It's called Basta by Lana Grossa. I feel like this yarn is super trendy on Instagram right now. It is a super bright orange color, so for me I really have to be in the mood to be able to wear this. But yeah, it's knitted all over on 6mm needles, which makes it a fairly quick knit, and the yarn is really fun to knit with, I will say that. The only thing about this is that it's a pretty basic sweater, so for me to like, the construction is pretty basic. It wasn't very challenging for me to knit or anything. It was fun to knit with the Basta yarn, but the sweater itself, it wasn't like a super pleasant knit, I will say, just because it's a super basic sweater and I'm not in love with this color, even though it's a very fun color. I would, if I were to make it again, I would probably choose a more of a toned down color. That's just how I feel right now. Maybe in a couple of days or week I will learn to love this, but right now this is just so bright, so I don't get a ton of wear out of this, unfortunately. The next thing that I finished this month is the French Market bag. I made this in a size small, or the smallest size you can make. It's a pattern by Petite Knit. It's knitted in Japanese cotton from Isaga, which is a pretty expensive cotton yarn, I will say. I talked about it in my last episode as well. This was a planned project the last time we talked, and I just casted it on like right after the episode, right after I filmed, and then I finished it in a couple of days, maybe a week. It's knitted from, you start in the middle here with like, I don't know, 8 stitches, and then you increase out. Yeah, and then you just knit it bottom up and bind off with an I-cord, I believe. In the pattern, there's a written explanation for how to sew your own lining. I did just buy the finished Petite Knit lining that she makes for this bag. I was a bit lazy. Same comes to the straps. I just bought the finished Petite Knit straps that you can get as a kit, I believe. So the leather straps and the lining is both from Petite Knit's like own collection. The birds are really... So I just bought it from Petite Knit's own collection. She sells it at my local yarn store, so I thought, why not? It will make it super easy to finish this. That was all of my finished objects, and then I will move on to my current WIPS, which is some are new and some have been here for a while. We can start with the one that's been here for a while. This piece has been on my needles for 3 months. 3 full months. So I am so excited to get this done. As of now, I have the neck and a couple of more rounds on one of the sleeves left. But this is the Mindy sweater by Sunny's Garn, which is a beautiful oversized sweater. It's knitted in thin silk mohair and Sunday. It's in the same colorway, so it's this beautiful matcha green color, which has been all over the internet and knitting Instagram lately. I finished one sleeve and I have, I don't know, 7 or 8 rounds left of this sleeve, and then I need to pick up stitches for the neck and make it. I am a bit unsure about the neck because the pattern just calls for just a simple turtleneck, not like folded. I am thinking of doing more of a like college sweater neckline where you just knit basic 2x2 rib and then fold it down and sew it down. We will see. I think hopefully I will finish this in about a couple of days. I am going to the Sunny's Garn factory next week. I really want to wear this when I go to the factory, I think. And it's knitted on 3.5mm needles for the body and 3mm needles for the 2x2 rib. This has just been on my needles forever. That's why I really want to get it done. So I would talk about my WIPs in a chronological order. So the next thing that I casted on after that, that's still on my needles, is this rose top, which I don't think we had the yarn for the last time I filmed, which means I've made a hell of a lot of progress the last month. But this is the rose. Oh, it looks super short and cropped. Tried it on and I think I want to wear it with skirts, so I think this will be good. But this is the Rose Top by Sandnes Garn. It has an open back. It has double moss stitch, I think this is called. And it's knitted top down like a cardigan, I would say. It has half twisted rib, and it's supposed to have a ribbing for each sleeve and the neck, of course, and then also down the back. It's supposed to have a half twisted rib. It's just a lot of half twisted ribbing that needs to get done with this one. I just haven't gotten around to it. And the ribbing is also knitted on 3.5mm needles. And since I have the Mindy sweater on 3.5mm needles, I usually like to have different projects with different sizes for needling, so my wrists will get a little bit of a break between the projects and not have the same like tensioning and everything. The next project is a test knit for Ulan Knitwear, or Maria as her real name is, and it's the limoncello dress, which will be super gorgeous once it's done. I just need to get my butt in action. This is also a 3.5mm needles project, and the thing about this yarn, it's the pure silk from Knitting for Olive. I've tried knitting with it once before, but it's just so painful for my wrists. I don't know how I will finish this dress, honestly. I get so sore in my wrists just after a couple of stitches. I do try to relax and take breaks, but for me it's just super painful. But I am trying to finish this since it's a test knit, and Maria was super kind. She said that I could choose another yarn because I said I had some bad experience with this pure silk for my wrists, and I've also tried different needles, but my wrists really don't like this yarn. I think it is because it's so, I will say, stiff in a skein. It's 100% silk, but it's so raw and rustic, but still so thin. Normally with a yarn this thin, it's more of a smooth feeling. So for, I don't know, my tensioning is just weird, and yeah, I don't exactly know how to put what to put my finger on, but it's just something is really off with me and this yarn. I really want to get the feedback done for the test knit, so I am focusing on this WIP as of now. The next thing that's been on my needles is, this has been a super fun project. It's the Lupin cardigan from Scopple's collection Rebloom. So this is supposed to be a sleeve. I'm a bit skeptical that will this be long enough. I might have to make it a little bit longer, but while deciding if I need to make it longer or not, I did start the body yesterday or the day before, just to get a feeling of how much yarn I will have left for the sleeves. It's a bottom-up construction, which is typical for Norwegian patterns, so I don't really mind. It's knitted on 8mm needles for the body, and supposed to be 8mm needles for the ribbing as well. I know my ribbings usually are on the looser side, so I decided to size down to a 7mm needle for the ribbing on both the body and the sleeves, and the ribbing is pretty neat. I'm pretty happy with that, how that's looking, and it's all over cabling, but so far so good with the cabling. I do use a cabling needle, even though there's only 4 stitches in the cablings. I am on the lookout for a new cabling needle, just because this is in metal and it's not super comfortable, and also on the smaller size compared to the stitches being a 8mm on an 8mm needle. I think this will be perfect for summer nights in Norway, so I really want to get this done, but I want to get all of my projects done, but I have so little time, I feel like, these days to knit. The next thing that is on my needle is another fussy sweater, and it's in the color it's Lemonade by Hypnit Shop. I've never tried their fluffy yarn before. As stated before, I usually work with the Strikkefeber Fat Mohair, which is, I would say, pretty similar to the Hypnit Shop Fuzzy Mohair. I will have a look at the label. It's called Fluff from Hypnit Shop. It's 80% kid mohair, 11% merino, and 9% polyamide. And I think it's the same blend as Strikkefeber, like around the same percentages. I think it has the same meterage as well, so they're pretty similar. And so far they're the same amount of soft or itchy, I would say. I don't mind wearing mohair on my skin. I know some people have issues with wearing mohair on your bare skin. I don't, so I'm pretty lucky with that. This is supposed to be a back panel for a sweater that I designed in the Dream Knit designing tool, and right now I'm doing a collaboration with Dream Knit where you can get 20% off Dream Knit Pro if you use my code LIVE20, which is just my name and then 20. I am knitting this on 6mm needles, which gives me a pretty tight gauge. I'm pretty happy with my color choice. So, of course, I really want to get this done as well. The last thing that's on my needles right now is I just need to check the pattern. I am knitting the Wave T by Petite Knit. I'm knitting this in Mandarin Petite held double together with a alpaca feuilleton. This is not recommended yarn combination in the pattern, but the Mandarin Petite I just had laying around from, supposed to make the rose top with this from Sandnes Garn, so I was gifted the Mandarin Petite. And then I came across a pattern which combined one strand of Mandarin Petite and one strand of alpaca feuilleton. So I decided to, originally I was supposed to do the pattern with 3.5mm needles, but I really want to have something on thicker needles. So I decided to find a pattern where I could combine 2 strands of Mandarin Petite and then 1 strand of alpaca feuilleton, which I feel like the Mandarin Petite gets a little softer with the alpaca feuilleton. I started this last night, but it's on 6mm needles, so it's going pretty quickly, I will say. And I just really need my knitting mojo back, so I am, casting on and casting on. The battery got exhausted, of course, but I am incredible grateful, and I think I will end this podcast on that note. I will see you guys in another podcast episode, and in the meantime, you can follow me on TikTok or Instagram for more frequent updates.